Hey guys, it's Tim Shermack, and welcome back to another episode of the Platform Marketing Show. I'm joined today by Seth Bailey. Seth, welcome back
Yeah,
to the show.
thanks for having me.
So Seth has previously had an episode on the Platform Marketing Show. I think at the point we recorded your first episode, you hadn't really been working with Platform for long. You had some early wins and some quick successes, which is why we wanted to have you on and have you share your story. But at this point, do you remember how long you've been working in the Platform Marketing Program now?
Yeah, I was talking to Emily, my platform account manager. It'll be 3 years in March of 2026.
Okay, so we're at about 2.5 years or so at the point of this.
Yeah, I would say it'll be 3 years in March, so almost 3 years.
Okay. And prior to you joining the Platfam, you were already a successful agent. You were already stuck at this plateau of like 150 to 200 a year, anywhere in there, which is, again, you were already successful because many agents dream of one day getting to 150 or 200,000 in GCI. But this year, you're on pace to really just bust through that plateau. And this year, you're going to finish the year with about 350,000 in GCI. So that's incredible.
Yeah, it's crazy to even say because in the summer, fall time, normally it was around 8 to 9 million in volume. That's kind of my peak that I've done. And this year it'll be about 13.5 million. So when I saw I was going to hit 10, I'm like, sweet. And, it's something I've never done before. Then I was able to continue in the fall and Christmas time to get above that 13 million.
And you're in the Springfield, Missouri area. So just to kind of set the table here, give people some context, for you to sell 13, almost 14 million, how many homes are you having to sell? Because your area isn't super duper expensive homes. I mean, your average there is around 300,000 or so?
Yeah, I would say it's typical about 250 to 350. I would say.
So it is not abnormal for you at all to be selling $250,000 homes.
Right. Yeah. I'm in Nixa, so it's a little suburb of Springfield. I would say 3 to 350 is probably more the average versus 250. But this year I'll sell 43 homes.
Yeah, that's a lot of volume you have to get to hit 13 million. You definitely aren't in one of those markets where the sales volume looks impressive, but then when you dig deeper, it's like, oh, well, he sold 13 million because he sold 13 $1 million homes or something like that,
Yeah, I think my biggest one is about 7 to 800,000 probably.
Most of them for you seem to be kind of in that 300-ish range, maybe up to 400, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to get some of those 5 to 6s that really help. But yeah, majority are between that 3 to 400,000.
Now, you've really more than doubled your business in the last year. What would you attribute to that success? Because this is happening in a year. Again, I don't know when someone's going to listen to this podcast conversation, but just to give people context of what the economy and what the market is like at the point that we're recording this, interest rates are still in the mid sixes. It's still a really tough market. A lot of agents are having, frankly, a difficult or challenging year. So this is not happening in the context of, hey, the market's coming back, the market's healing. Many agents are really still struggling right now. And yet you doubled your business. Your GCI is going from 150 something closer to 350,000 this year. What would you attribute that to?
I would say a lot of things. Just being with Platform for almost 3 years, I feel like that domino effect is finally starting to hit with staying top of mind with people. And I've been in Springfield, Nixa for a little 4 years now. So I finally got to that point where people are starting to sell and buy again after I helped them purchase a house at the beginning.
Sure.
I think that 4th to 5th year, because I was in Kansas City for about 4 or 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Because I started with you guys after I moved to Springfield to a new market. And so I felt like in that Kansas City market, I was finally getting to that point where people were starting to come to me to sell and buy again.
And then you moved.
And then I moved. So
yeah,
I'm finally at that point now where I'm established here in Springfield. And I contributed to that. And then also just with consistency with my ads and posts and listing tours and local businesses and people starting to recognize me and just continue to be consistent posting and getting my name out there and my recognition. But sometimes it's hard to tell where it's coming from, but I contribute a lot of it to Platform. And even if it's a realtor from Kansas City, like I got a couple referrals from Kansas City. We're friends on Facebook, but she called me and said, hey, we want you to list my house. I got 4 deals just from her. I tried to ask her, hey, is it from my content or kind of was it from? And I contribute to that. So it's like low-hanging fruit, fuzzy. You're trying to figure out where it's coming from. But I think the domino effect of staying top of mind for 3 to 4 years now is definitely taking place.
I honestly totally forgot because I think we discussed this in the previous podcast conversation we have. I totally forgot that you used to be up in Kansas City. You haven't spent your whole life in Springfield. So you were kind of
Yeah.
building a sphere of influence and building your friendships and network all over again in a new town. So your story is actually a perfect example of what I often talk about in terms of platform is saving you time. Because I think if you're a good agent and you're active in the community and you're just doing a good job, right? If you're a good agent, you will eventually at some point in your career probably get to 10 million in production
Mhm.
or more. It just is usually going to take like 5 to 10 years because it takes a while to snowball and get
Yeah.
those second levels of referrals and someone that maybe you helped them as a first-time home buyer. 5 years later, 6 years later, they're a move-up buyer, right? And now that's a listing for you as well. And that just takes anywhere between 5 and 10 years. Platform is really more of a time savings where, hey, could you probably get to that level on your own? Yeah, but it might take a decade.
Yeah.
Let's do platform marketing instead, and we can get there in 2 or 3 years rather than 10 years.
Y
And so you're a great example of that. I know that you have been hyper consistent in creating the content and following the platform recipe. Like you said, it's the consistency. You can't just have one viral video per year and think that's going to grow your business. It's
Yeah.
about regularly putting out content every month
Yeah.
to stay top of mind with people.
Yeah. And I haven't really had a super viral ad or anything. It's just been consistent, about the same every time. We finally increased our budget, which obviously helps.
What are you spending on the ads in the average month?
It's normally 13, 1,500 now.
Okay, cool.
So it was 8, then we bumped it up to 12 to 13, I think it is now. So
When did you do that? Did you make that change in the last year?
I'm pretty sure it was beginning of the year.
Okay, so that actually is probably somewhat
Yeah.
correlated with you having
Yeah.
as big of a year as you did, that you increase your ads budget from about 800 to 1,300 or
Yeah. It
1,500.
definitely helps out with trying to get most of the people on your retargeting list that are,
Just constantly seeing you.
yeah.
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 Okay, so of that growth, I have a follow-up question there. Like, how many of the closings you had this year, Seth, are closings that are just random leads from a homes list, like a lead generation campaign, versus how many of it are kind of fuzzy ROI, like referrals from your sphere where you can't maybe quite track where it's coming from, but you're just getting way more referrals this year? What does that ratio look like for you?
I would say the fuzzy is more, but the home list, like I'm closing one from the home list next week. They're going to be purchasing as well. I have one listing on the market from the home list. So I don't have my board in front of me, but I would say it's 60-40 as far as fuzzy versus
Okay.
home list.
And are you following up with your leads every day? Are you actually in the CRM following up with those homes list leads?
Yeah, usually I'm always calling them and then shooting me a text to say, hey, who I am if they don't answer. So I'm doing that daily. I'm not doing the follow up 3 to 4 times type.
But you are actually following up with the leads, though. That's really the question. Because I
Yeah.
know a lot of realtors get the leads and they're not even making an attempt to follow up with the leads. They're kind of just like, well, if they're warm, they'll call me. But
Yeah, so
you are actually
so
proactively following up.
I call every day. I set 20 to 30 minutes to call the leads every day.
And obviously that's working because you just rattled off a couple closings that are literally just happening
Yeah.
this month that are directly from those homes list
Yeah,
leads.
I have quite a few in the pipeline that I haven't bought yet and stay in touch with them. So I know in 2026, it'll be a good amount of volume just from home list people.
That's awesome.
So I was actually doing a video the other day, a listing tour video at a borrowed listing. Wasn't my listing, but a guy pulled up and he was like, you guys doing an open house this weekend? I'm like, no, I'm not the agent, but I'm just doing. Well, actually, I said, no, I don't think we're doing one this weekend. So I don't think I said it was not my listing.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I stopped because I know you are. I see you on Facebook all the time.
Awesome.
And I gave him a card and he'll eventually buy. So just cool things like that, that if we're not from the home list or not from that.
So yeah, people in the community are actually recognizing you in real life.
Yeah. I was at the DMV the other day and the lady at the front that checked me in, she's like, you look really familiar. And I'm sure it was from Facebook. And I have another guy, he's my UPS or my post mail guy.
Yeah.
He called me the other day. He wants me to list his house. He saw me from Facebook. So,
Oh,
you know,
awesome.
I wouldn't say a ton of people call me randomly and say, hey, I see you on Facebook. I want to list with you. But it's more that fuzzy ROI where I think it's more of clear than fuzzy because there's really no other way that they would find me unless it's on Facebook. So,
Do you know how many people live in the greater Springfield area?
yeah, greater, it's like 750,000 probably.
So that makes sense that, like, hey, I'm not regularly being recognized every single day because there are hundreds of thousands of people
Yeah.
that live in your market. It's not some tiny town that has 5,000 people or
Yeah,
something.
next to where I live is 20,000. Ozark, which is right by, it's 20,000. And Springfield
Yep.
is the greater Springfield's, yeah, about 750,000.
Yeah, I think I told you this before, but I'm somewhat familiar with the area because my wife is from Ozark, Missouri originally. She was born and
I
raised in
forgot you said
Ozark,
that.
and
Yeah,
then
that's funny.
yeah, her dad lives in Battlefield, so we usually end up going back to Battlefield at least once a year just to visit
Oh,
so they
yeah.
can see grandkids and
Yeah, you'll
whatnot.
have
So
to let me know next time you come down. I'll grab a coffee or something, or at least
yeah,
meet
for
you.
sure, dude. I know last time we were there, it was like, okay, we got to do all the things in Springfield. So we're going to Bass Pro Shops. We're gonna go down to Branson afterwards and just like check all the boxes of
Yeah. Yeah, it's also hard to, like, we go to Kansas City sometimes, and, people are like, "Oh, we wanna see you," but it's also like, you only have so much time with family too, so it's hard.
yeah, yeah.
But
And I know you have a wife and kids, right? How many kids do you have?
yep. Yeah, I've been married, through 12 years now, and then, I have 3 kids and 1 on the way.
That's right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We're due in February.
Awesome, dude. Awesome.
So another
Um,
girl. Yeah, girl, boy, girl.
cool, man. Cool. That's awesome. Uh, what is, being you have 3 kids, 1 on the way, what does the work-life balance look like for you as a realtor? I mean, are you working 60 hours a week, 80 hours a week, 40 hours a week? And has that changed at all in the last couple years? Like the level of hustle that
Yeah,
you're putting in, or
yeah.
like what does that look like now?
I always tell people, like, even I, talk to my wife about it, I'm like, I don't feel like I work that much. It's like, get up, have devotion time, have breakfast, and spend time with the kiddos, and then work out, and then you know I don't do I don't work a lot of hours. It's like, I film my content, I call my leads, show houses, people call, list houses, but to me, I feel like I don't work that much. It's like, uh, I sometimes do some cold calling, or um, you know, door knocking, stuff like that. I did a lot more last
Yeah.
year, door knocking, but um, yeah, I mean, I don't feel like my schedule is like super busy. I mean, it's busy in the sense of I close a lot of deals, but not like busy in that like I'm working constantly. So I feel like it's
Yeah.
a great work life balance where I work from home, so I see, my kid that's home a lot, see my wife a lot. I don't work from the office. So to be honest, I don't feel like I would do work like a lot. So
Yeah.
it's a great work life balance, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a question I love asking because like you don't really know what someone's life is like or how successful they are if all you know is what is their sales volume or what is their GCI.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you're selling $15 million a year in sales volume, it's like, oh, cool, you're making a lot of money as a realtor. But if you're working 80 hours a week, it's kind of like, is that really worth it?
Yeah, like
Um,
it's been great. We went to Disney World this year. We went to New York last weekend when you guys were at the mastermind. We were there for a
oh, cool.
baby moon to get away for a couple days, and you know, I'm able to be super flexible, and but I get my content done. I get my you know all that stuff done, and usually one day of the week, 2 days of the week, and then I'll follow up with leads, every day. And um, I'm in 2026. I'm gonna try to implement more of the CRM, with all the leads that I have in my
Yeah.
system as far as CRM goes. So that's that, and mailers,
Well,
around
if that's the plan, you should join us in Naples next month. By the way, we're doing a small group workshop if you want to
next month.
join the platform.
I
Yeah, it's like literally in like mid January. A bunch of us are getting together in Naples. I mean, it's not really a conference.
I
We're
did
just
see
gonna like
that. Yeah,
workshop. Yeah, and it's just gonna be a focus on CRM and systems and
yeah. It's
yeah,
definitely something I want to prioritize, because I have all these leads from the home list, um, that are just kind of just sitting there.
yeah,
So
yep,
I would
yep,
like to figure out some way to. I mean, I know they're in the retargeting list on Facebook too. I'm
right,
sure not all of them,
right,
but just some way to hit them one more time at least with something like that. So I'm gonna try to do a couple more things this year or 2026 as far as CRM and mailers. So that'll be my two other things that I implement into 2026.
Yeah, man. Well, again, if you're at a point where, you're exceeding 13 million, on your way eventually to 14 million, 15 million, but you're still working like reasonable hours, right? You're still working about 30, 40 hours a week. Like you're not working 80 hours a week, right? That's like a really good spot to be in your business, because I think a lot of agents take for granted that like once you add an assistant to the mix or you add buyer's agents, it's like your numbers might increase, but all that really matters is what is the take home pay? Like
Right.
what are you netting at the end of the year?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if you start hiring people and adding expenses and stuff, and now your income or your sales volume scales to 17 or 18 or 20 million, but to get there you had to hire a full-time person, or you had to you know build a team that you're now mentoring and holding them accountable and having weekly or daily meetings with your
Yeah.
team. It's like, is it worth it? And I
Yeah.
think a lot of people would be surprised at like, you're often better off being at 10 million or 11 million or 12 million and having no
Response.
team expenses and overhead rather than building this huge complex
I totally agree.
team stretch.
I'm totally same way of thinking because, this year I had a transaction quarter last year, so she's 200 and say $50 a transaction. So times that by 40, that's $10,000. So this year I did it all myself. So um, I'm able to save, $10,000. I don't have a videographer that videos me. I video myself. Um, so I'm not paying a videographer. I'm obviously paying a photographer, but
Yep.
um, that's not an expense. So I don't have tons of expenses besides, platform. Um,
Yep. Just the marketing itself.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So I don't. I've thought about like, oh, should I have a team? Should I? I'm like, do I need to, or is that gonna? It's not, I don't feel like it's a necessity, and I just feel like it's so much time to consume to others that I know
Right.
a lot.
Now, do I think that hiring an assistant or having a TC can be a really good thing? Yeah, I do, but there's a huge difference. And I've observed this over hundreds and hundreds of realtors over the years, right? So I think I have kind of like a unique
Yeah.
perspective that a lot of people don't have on this. I think the way to do it, like if I were to shut down platform tomorrow and be like, I'm going to be a realtor and here's how I'm going to structure my business,
Mhm.
right? Is I would try to maximize my own personal production without ever adding a buyer's agent or a team. So it's like I might hire a TC or I might hire a personal assistant if I thought that a personal assistant could get me to 20 million to 25 million versus doing 10 million on my own, because obviously the math works there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But there's a huge difference between like you're at 13, 14 million and besides the marketing, like you don't really have expenses. So
Right.
you're actually netting way more money, keeping way more money than someone who's even at 16, 17 or 20 million, but they've built this huge team infrastructure. We had a Kimberly Music speak at the mastermind this
Gotcha.
year, and she wouldn't mind me saying this because she spoke it from stage at the
Yeah.
mastermind, that she's like, I was selling 20 million a year, so I was a highly productive agent making a lot of money, but then I started building a team because I thought that the team would get me to this next level of like, money and income and everything. And it got to the point where her expenses every month were $36,000 a month
Ooh.
to have that team, because she's renting out a big office space and she's
Wow.
investing a bunch into marketing and lead gen to feed leads
36,000.
to that team. And basically, even though she was selling 20 million, which means she's like extremely successful as like an individual, agent, all of the money she was making was just going back into subsidizing this team that wasn't making any money. And that is like the rule, not the exception.
Mhm.
Like that way more often is exactly what happens when someone tries to build a team. So I'm almost always the one arguing for like, hey, don't build a team, don't add complexity.
Yeah.
Just see how big you can build your business by yourself without hiring or adding a bunch of expenses,
Yeah.
because your happiness has to factor into that too. That has to be a variable of like, it's not just about how much money can I make, it's how much money can I make
And be
and
happy.
still enjoy my
Yeah.
life. Yeah.
I'll choose peace any day over being busy. Um, so that's the way I look at it. I'm like, is this gonna bring me more peace or not? And most of the time, I can answer that question by asking that to myself. So
Yeah. Seth, have there been any other like marketing initiatives or marketing programs or strategies you've done to grow your business alongside platform? Is there anything else that's working well for you in the last couple of years?
not really. Um, I mean, besides like door knocking and cold calling, which I haven't cold call besides the home list, that we have, but door knocking was, I got a couple deals from door knocking last year, but as far as marketing goes, I haven't really done really any other marketing besides platform.
So I'm curious, what did the door knocking look like? Because you said you picked up like multiple deals last year from that.
Yeah, so I went at a different way. So basically what I did is I made a fridge magnet. Um so I had, at the bottom I had my info with my picture on it, which was bigger than the rest of it, and I had teamed up with 10 local vendors. And it was called the emergency contact list. Yeah, the emergency contact list. And so I had 10 vendors that were on emergency contact. So a plumber, electrician, um, a HVAC guy, a tow truck, or a tow company. I had a mobile mechanic. I had a couple other ones. But basically, I was able to, instead of door knock and say, "Hey, you want to sell your house?" I would go up to him and say, "Hey, just want to let you know I'm Seth Bailey from with Alpha Realty. Live here in Nixa. Just wanted to give you this fridge magnet. Hope this helps you out. If you need anything, I'm a realtor here in the area."
Dude, that's actually genius. So
Yeah,
I why are you telling me this now? Why didn't I know about this before? This is dude, that's genius. So like when you're door knocking, you're actually giving them something of value that they'll want to keep, because it's like,
it's on.
hey, I might not need to sell my house right now, but here's your favorite recommendation for, an electrician or a plumber,
Yeah,
or,
yeah. It's
that is
And
brilliant,
then
dude. I
they
love that.
obviously they have it on their fridge. It's there all year round.
Right.
Unlike,
Right.
Chiefs Kansas City Chiefs schedule or a football schedule, that's gonna be thrown away every year. So and then
So it's like a physical retargeting ad that
yeah,
stays on their fridge. I
right.
mean, I love it,
Yeah.
dude. It's
Yeah,
genius.
and then the vendors, they when I run out, they help me with the cost too. So it's free.
Yep,
It's
right.
free and they get free publicity.
Exactly. Yep.
And
Okay.
yeah,
How we can turbocharge this even further. My favorite strategy is whenever you have an offline strategy that's working, we add an online component to it. So we have some clients, who have done billboards, and we'll always tell them, hey, when you put a billboard up, go take a selfie picture standing in front of the billboard.
yeah.
Like, hey, have you seen my new billboard on highway? Whatever. But it's just a selfie picture.
Mm,
And then we run that as a retargeting ad, because that always gets way more comments and engagement, because people are like, oh, yeah, I saw the billboard, whatever. And it kind of like creates this 1+1 = 3 effect, right? You could do the same thing with this, where you could take a picture of you holding the magnet and say, hey, who wants one of these magnets? I've put together a list of my favorite local small businesses. So if you need my recommendation for the plumber or et cetera that I recommend, let me know. I'll send you one of these fridge magnets. Like, and then you run that as a retargeting ad.
yeah.
Like that would actually probably get a ton of engagement
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I never done that, so that is a great idea. Um, yes, I'm actually gonna be doing a new one here soon with some other different vendors. So,
Yeah, dude,
but
that's seriously really
I
smart.
got it from I got the idea. It wasn't the exact. Um, it was more of a, I think an athletic schedule or something, and I was like, how can I make this to
Yeah.
where I
Yeah.
can, they can, my face can be on it, and I can team up with more local people. So everyone loves it. I mean, you know, I get people occasionally say, "Yeah, I called your guy and he was great. Thanks for, getting that to me." So, and it's something where I can always leave on the doorstep too if they don't answer when I'm door knocking. Just put it in their front door.
What time of day do you typically finds best to go door knocking? Are you doing it in the mornings or at 5 o'clock
When I was
or
doing it, it was kind of mid morning or like really anytime. I mean, I don't do it too late, so it's
okay.
anywhere between 10 and 2 probably.
Okay, so you're not going at 7 a.m., but you're also not going at like 8 p.m., just
Yeah.
really anywhere
It's like
during the day.
it's like I wouldn't want someone knocking on my door at 8 o'clock, so I'm not gonna do it to them.
Right. Right.
But it's just a cool way to start a conversation uh, without having the real estate conversation of selling your home
Yep.
and giving them value. And
No, dude, it's genius. I love that. I've always taught people when I'm coaching them that like if there's a behavior you don't like doing that you kind of have to psych yourself up for, like basically if you have to use up willpower
right,
on something, that's never a sustainable strategy because you're never going to have high levels of willpower over time. So
yeah,
what you have to do is change the activity so that it's something you actually get excited for so
yeah,
that you don't have to psych yourself up to do it. And usually what that means in like the real world is like, well, how do you add value to someone? So when you make a call or, in this case, when you're knocking on someone's door, you're actually giving them something of value where you're not embarrassed or you're not like annoying them.
yeah,
With a client events, this is usually what we teach, at platform where the reason you do regular client events, because honestly, I'm not a huge fan of like a once a year huge annual client appreciation event
mhm,
because if you get hundreds of people coming to that, it's like, well, it's really hard for you to get individual personal time with everyone
right,
if you're just doing some massive event. It's actually better to do 3 or 4 somewhat smaller events throughout the year where maybe only 20 people show up or 30 people show up where you're actually getting to talk to them. But again, the reason you do regular events is it gives you an excuse to call your database and invite them
yeah,
because even if they say no, hey, I can't make it, I'm busy or whatever, the point is doing the event gave you a reason to call and invite them, where otherwise most agents are not regularly calling their database just to check in
yeah,
because they'd be like, well, I don't have any reason to call them. Why would I call them and check in?
right.
Right.
Yeah, that's good. I've thought about doing stuff like either dropping stuff like something small off just to say hi or something like that. But yeah, calling them like, a couple times a year, whatever it is, it's always important, which I need to do better with. But um yeah, I've never done the big events, you know, but I know people that do like the pies or for
Sure. Sure.
Thanksgiving
Yep.
or something like that. But
Or you like rent a movie theater. That's a common thing too, where it's
right.
like, hey, rent a movie theater and I'll buy tickets and popcorn for everyone. It's like, again, that's great. It's better to do a big event than to not do any client events at all.
Yeah.
But more so what I'm saying is like you just have to acknowledge if you do a big event and you get, whatever, 100 people or 150 people to show up, you're probably not going to have high quality
Interaction.
in-depth conversations with everyone there just because of the sheer number. I mean, that's what the platform mastermind is like for me now, dude. Like now we have 200, 250. We had almost 300 people this
Oh
year
wow.
come. It's like I'm not talking to everyone because
Yeah.
there's no mathematical way I could possibly have a conversation with that many people,
Yeah. Yeah.
So if there was a way to have regular events sprinkled throughout the year where it's smaller, where you're actually getting FaceTime with people, that's probably a much better strategy. But again, even for all the people who don't go, I think the real reason that you should be doing regular events throughout the year, like smaller stuff, right, is that it gives you an excuse to call people
Mhm.
and just say, hey, even if you can't make it, I wanted to invite you. And then you had a little, whatever, 1 minute, 2 minute
Yeah.
conversation. And if you do that even twice a year, well, that's two more conversations you would have had than if you were doing zero,
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
even if like, I've heard someone I started doing this last year was, at the end of the year, send over your clients the settlement statements or something like that, drop it off at their doorstep or email it to them, say, "Hey, just
Sure.
want to let you know I'm calling just to let you know I'm sending this over to your email. That way you have it for your tax purposes." So that's another doesn't have to be an
Yep.
event, it just can be something that give them
Just
value
some
and
sort of reason to reach
yeah,
out,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason I love this kind of fridge magnet idea is that you're taking something that most people, I mean, let's be honest, most people totally hate the idea of door knocking. It's like, door knocking, oh my
Yep.
God, I'd rather kill myself than go door knocking for business, right? But if you're door knocking and you're actually giving people a legitimate gift, like an actual offer of value, that totally changes the dynamic the moment that person opens the door. Like, I mean, I love it. It's genius. And obviously it's working because you said you converted 2 leads this year that are working with you because of.
Yeah. Yeah, I listed one. It didn't end up selling it, but, that was from that, and then I ended up closing, uh, buy and a sell from it, um, from that door knocking, and then we actually became pretty good friends from it, but, yeah, it's
It's amazing.
just a way to give them value, and I'll what I'll do is on the platform page, I'll post a picture of the magnet, that way people can see it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Um, uh, and, I don't it's like a balance between, like, if I repost those, like, other realtors will, kinda get the same idea as far as my market goes, but, um, it's like, do I tell people? Do I show people? Like
That's why we have the private Facebook group, because that way the
exactly.
only people would know are in the platform, and your market
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
is your
So
market.
I'll post that so everyone can kinda see that.
That's awesome, man. That's a genius idea. I've never heard of anyone doing that, and that totally, again, like, transforms door knocking because you're no longer just awkwardly
Yeah, like,
asking for
even
business.
if you go, like, I don't know if you've heard of no, I can't think of his name, but he was on Survivor. He was a Remax agent. Um, can't remember his name, but he did a lot of handing out business cards at Walmart, just wherever he was in the parking lot.
Okay.
Just hand out tons of cards, and he sold over 100 properties his first year by just basically doing that. But uh, back to what I was saying, even having those magnets at like those kind of places would help a person over just give them a business card. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
if it's specifically for Nixa, that's the magnet. So I might do more of a broad type magnet. That way it's for most
Sure.
all cities. But even like going to Walmart or whatever it is, I will be more comfortable giving them that than just give them a business card. So it could be
Yeah, again, because again, if you're handing out business cards, that's not an offer of value, right? That's you trying to, like, solicit someone, like, hey, here's my info. But if it's an actual magnet with, like, hey, here's who I recommend for, plumbing, electric, whatever, like, that's actually valuable.
yeah,
Like, honestly, where I live in Naples, Florida, if someone knocked on my door and gave that to me, I would absolutely put that on the fridge. I'm like, oh, cool. This will actually save me a bunch of time in the future from searching on Google to find the right air conditioning company or the right plumber or whatever. Like, that actually is legitimately valuable.
and I went around tons of businesses saying, hey, can I put a stack of business or these magnets in your business? And a lot of let me like I put in uh, a Thai restaurant. I put them in tire shops. I put them in dentist offices. I put them in. Trying to think. Yeah, a lot. A couple more restaurants.
Yep.
And most people are like, sure. So that's another way to instead of door knocking, you
Right.
put them in
Right.
local businesses, and most people will be okay. Yeah, it's fine. A lot of people, a lot of or business said no, but you got to find the ones that would actually let you put them in there.
Right.
So it's a little nugget of the day.
Seth, that's amazing. That's like genius tactic there. Are there any other, last words of wisdom or advice that you want to share with us?
No, I mean the only thing that I think have kind of set me apart with, um, my social media would just be like the intros on videos of listing tours. I try to be as creative as I possibly can with intros, just finding videos that work for other people and implement them to real estate. So, um, there's so many agents
Yeah,
that
you probably almost more than anyone else in the platform, I think, have a lot of fun with your intros. Like, any listing video that you do, I almost guarantee the first 5 seconds of the video, it's going to be some fun way where
yeah,
you're grabbing people's attention,
yeah,
you know, just to make sure you hook them in. And that's what you have to do. I mean, that's
yeah,
what we always teach and preach, but I think you probably do a better job of that than just about anyone in the
yeah.
platform.
it's a balance between like being professional and being like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you're known for being funny. Like there's a balance between that, but I try not to, go over the edge of that. But
What is like share one or two specific examples of like intros you've done maybe in the last year that really stand out?
oh, let's see. Um, I've done uh there was a listing tour with a pool. So basically I just had my trunks on and I said something to where of blah blah house in Nixa. This house is flipping awesome, and I flipped into the pool. Um, so I did that. That one actually got one of the more exposures that I've gotten in a video.
Yeah.
I've done stuff where like I had a leaf blower and I actually blew the socks off my feet. And I said, "This house is gonna blow your socks off." Um,
Okay.
I've done
So
that.
just kind of like stupid
Like
stuff, but
like
it
pun
grabs your attention. That's the
yeah, like
point.
punny. I love a good pun, so I'll do,
Yeah, yeah,
those type of things. Let's see. I'm getting ready to do a video where basically I'm walking in a car kind of comes in front of me and people are throwing the the glass of water at the windshield, and then it's kind of a, oh, he's super angry. He's coming up to the window and he's like, roll the window down. And then once the guy rolls the window down, they're like, then you're super nice. Say, check out this new listing in Nixa. It's awesome. So it's kind of a
yeah,
interruption of
yeah.
being mad and then being happy. So I just try to find things that are funny and get a
And
lot of.
what is the name of your Facebook page, just in case people want to go look it up and see some examples of your videos?
It's just Seth Bailey Real Estate.
Okay, so on Facebook, it's just Seth Bailey Real Estate.
Yep.
Yeah, you like. I mean, you put out a lot of listing videos, and our team always looks forward to when you send those in because I think you have a lot more fun and kind of inject a lot more creativity into videos than the average agent does. And eventually, over time, you build a reputation for that, and your community knows you for that. Because I'm sure you've had listing appointments where the sellers just straight up tell you, "Hey, the reason we chose you is because we think your marketing is really creative."
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that's the goal is to not be interviewed by or not have anyone else interview. Just come in and say, hey, you're our guy.
Right.
So,
Right.
so
Well, Seth, thank you for your time today. The ultimate proof is in the numbers that yes, you're creative, yes, you have fun, but it's also showing up in the business results where your business has, more than doubled in the last year. Your GCI going from, 150 something to now closer to 350,000 in GCI. Super stoked for you and congratulations
appreciate it.
on the kid coming next year, growing the family. And hopefully I'll see you at the next platform mastermind next year.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard it's going to be possibly a different location than Florida. So I'm excited to hear where that is. And our baby should be, let's see, if it's in the fall or winter, should be,
Yeah.
6 or 7 months old. So if not family, hopefully I can get out there and just go myself. So I'm excited to see where that is.
All right, man. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Congratulations again on all your success. And guys, we'll see you on the next episode of the Platform Marketing Show.